Airbnb has taken a significant step to enhance guest privacy by prohibiting the use of indoor cameras in rental properties. The new policy, aimed at ensuring guests' peace of mind, extends to limit the use of outdoor cameras, requiring hosts to disclose their presence and ensuring they do not invade private spaces. The company's decision to ban indoor cameras previously allowed in communal areas comes as a response to privacy concerns. This move not only clarifies rules around surveillance, but also outlines strict consequences for hosts violating these guidelines, including potential removal from the platform. Airbnb's updated privacy measures are set to take effect on April 30th, emphasizing the importance of reviewing rental listings for disclosed surveillance devices. That and many, many more stories tonight. You're listening to Geek News Central episode 1729, coming to this Monday, March 11th. I'm your host, Todd Cochran. A big shout out to our primary sponsor at GoDaddy.com, powering Geek News Central. Grab their deals at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. And hey, to all of our awesome listeners, you're the real MVPs. Contribute your time, talent, or treasure at geeknewscentral.com/insider by becoming a GNC Insider. We're live and lit with a modern podcast app from podcastapps.com. Join our value for value movement by downloading a modern podcast app. To our amazing listeners out there, a big virtual hug. Dive into our digital hub at geeknewscentral.com. Don't forget to check out all of our partner shows, all linked up at Geek News Central. Get on board and don't forget to follow or subscribe via your favorite modern podcast app. And you can sign up for the newsletter while you're at it. You can always join the chat room at geeknews.chat. Of course, do you have feedback on the show? geeknews@gmail.com, geeknews@gmail.com, at geeknews on X. Of course, you can catch me on Facebook. And of course, a massive salute to GoDaddy, the longest continuous sponsor of podcasts. We have great savings for you. They begin at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. Lock in your savings today. Get over to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy and lock those savings in by picking up one of my deals. Whether it be $11.99 for a brand new domain name, $11.99 for a brand new domain name, or $6.99 a month economy hosting, $6.99 a month economy hosting, or $12.99 a month managed WordPress hosting, you get a free domain, professional email, and an SSL certificate for the first year. Again, $6.99 a month economy hosting, $12.99 a month managed WordPress hosting, comes with a free domain, professional email, and an SSL certificate. Of course, you can get a free trial of GoDaddy website builder, your choice of personal business or business plus plans. That's a 1-month free trial. All my promo codes are linked at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. We want you to get over there and save. Hook up with a GoDaddy product or service. We appreciate it when you do. Your support keeps this podcast online, allows me to essentially keep the lights on, keep the rent paid, keep the insurance paid. Oh my goodness, my insurance went up this year already. It's crazy. So definitely consider becoming a proud supporter of this show by picking up a GoDaddy product or service. When you share my codes or my website page or post it online and share with your friends and family, it's just like doing an inline donation. Anytime someone picks up a GoDaddy product or service, it's just like you wrote a check to the show. So share my promo codes. If you hear of anyone thinking about starting a website, do not delay. Share that information today. And these GoDaddy codes are non-expiring, ready to work, and they are validated. So again, enter that promo code when you check out to receive the discount, or click one of the GoDaddy promo codes at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. I want to thank GoDaddy for being a longtime sponsor here at the Geek News Central podcast. I want to thank you for your ongoing support of them as well. Well, I tell you, I've been on the AI research wagon again. Been doing some cool work. Listened to a lot of shows. They're talking about AI. Some of the stuff that's way above my head. But every once in a while, I pick out a nugget or find a nugget. And one of those nuggets that I found that is going to be of value to you is that within 5 years, artificial general intelligence will be realized. And during the march of these 5 years, things are going to change dramatically in product marketing. No longer will there be a need for PR agencies. No longer will there be a need for marketing firms. No longer will there be a need for you to hire or use a user group to get UIX feedback. Within 5 years, all of this and more is going to be done by artificial general intelligence. Today? No, not today. But when AGI is realized, even in a small instance, things are going to get really, really crazy, really, really fast. I talked about on the last show how I was using UIUX images to write documentation. And essentially, today I did part 2 of 3 of documentation writing between about 4:30 and 5 o'clock. So near as I can figure. Now get this. Font sizes are a little off, so I have to make some adjustments. But about 40 pages of documentation have been created for me in about 60 minutes. It took me about as long to edit the output as it did to write the prompt that I used to produce 2 pages of documentation per image. I'm literally stunned. And matter of fact, one of my team members came back to me and said, "You did this all with ChatGPT, didn't you?" And I said, "Yep." And her response was, "Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness." And it's good. It's insightful. It makes recommendations. It gives information that I would have never given. It understands some of the reason we ask people to make sure they take time in writing a certain type of description for an upcoming episode and so forth. And the AI emphasized on all of why that was important. So if anyone ever reads these documentation, because we hope they don't have to, but we've got it there for people that will need that. I'm doing this all in a single ChatGPT thread, and it's just gotten smarter and smarter as I've done the output. And matter of fact, one of the screenshots that I sent it in realization of our production flow, I asked the AGI whether or not what we have done here was smart. And it gave me a summary of why what we have done. It was what ChatGPT said was brilliant. He said the integration of what you have combined here for workflow is brilliant and should save podcasters time. I didn't prompt that. It said it. It's not AGI, but that response kind of blew me away. So 5 years, I've already said 3 years, massive change, but 5 years, the experts believe the AGI will have been realized. And everything that you need a lot of external companies for now, or internal teams, you're going to be able to downsize and save money. So I fully believe this. So now, as I go through my UX, and I have any places where there is doubt, I look at that in detail and say, how can I make that better? Or how can I use AGI, ChatGPT, with a language model to help my customer understand what they're supposed to do here? How can I help them make a better product? And I'm full in for having CRM throughout my platform. So it's going to game change everything. and companies that are not if you're with a company that's not embracing this, I want to hear from you. Are you working with a company that says, we don't need this? If you're the guy that installs the air conditioning systems, fixes the water pipe, lays carpet, builds homes, if you're the person that does that work, you got a job forever. But you better hope that your boss, the owner of the company that you're working for, is implementing processes that's going to allow him to be competitive in the next couple of years and not be outpaced by the competition. Just the simple thing of building a product information sheet today. I said, I want a one-side product information sheet for this new product we're coming out. Here's what the product does. Here's the benefits. And literally in 60 seconds, it produced an output that I cut and pasted into a doc, did a few editings. In 15 minutes, I had, to my satisfaction, the text that was going to be needed for this handout. Sent it over to the copy editing team. I said, copy, edit, look at it, see what you think. About 15 minutes later, they came back, said a couple of minor edits, a comma here, comma there. Sent it over to my graphics guy, and I provided them a sample of what ChatGPT had put out as a potential design, which he said, yuck, and he went to work. And in just about an hour, from start of design, copy editing, the final product, we had a new handout in just about an hour. An hour. I normally would have spent an hour just writing the text. I would have taken probably, then there'd have been a debate back and forth a few times on the copy edit team. So maybe we say 50% amount of the time that we needed for this. But to me, I'm like, all I need now is a little bit more graphics utilization and we're off to the races. So if you don't believe me, just go ahead and keep your head stuck in the sand. Things are going to change. I had my daughter and son-in-law here along with my grandkids, spent the weekend going to microbreweries. I'm not that big of a beer drinker, but we did 3 microbreweries, 2 on Saturday, 1 for lunch on Sunday, and then chilled out. My grandkids over at the house playing. Tried to get my granddaughter to stay overnight. She got her, got her blanket and her pajamas, and she lasted about 30 minutes before she missed her mom. So kind of funny. But anyway, that's where we're at. Okay, so let's talk about this Airbnb thing. Most people probably didn't know that Airbnbs had cameras in them. I always go looking for them when I go in Airbnbs. And I like now that Airbnb is going to ban them on the inside of the homes, because typically when I go into an Airbnb, I treat it just like my own house and run around in my underwear and towels and whatever else. So the company's banning hosts from putting any indoor cameras in rentals. This is a good move, a good privacy policy. It just removes all types of attempts to have, considering issues that may happen with something ending up online that should not end up online. So this is a good move by Airbnb. In bigger news, NVIDIA has joined OpenAI in facing lawsuits for allegedly training AI in copyrighted work. The AI chipmaker is accused of training the technology on books from a shadow library. After weeks of leveraging the AGI intelligence boom to greater and greater heights, NVIDIA is being sued by authors over training for its Nemo AI platform. Authors Brian Keene, Abdi Nazarman, and Stuart Onan filed their proposed class action lawsuit in federal district court in California Friday. They allege that their work was part of a data set of nearly 197,000 books that helped train Nemo to generate ordinary written language. Part of the collection of works Nemo was trained on included a data set of books from Bibliotheque, a so-called shadow library that hosts and distributes unlicensed copyright material. That data set was available until October 2023, and it was listed as defunct and no longer accessible due to reported copyright infringements. The data set included at least one published work from each author. The authors claim that the takedown essentially is NVIDIA's concession that it trained its NeMo models on the data set. Didn't know it was copyrighted. NVIDIA says we respect the right of all content creators and believe we created NeMo in full compliance with copyright law. NVIDIA stock dropped 2%. Even with those losses, shares increased almost 273% over the past 12 months. So NVIDIA gets sued. Big target on all these folks. Meanwhile, OpenAI's CEO Altman apparently was not fired because of scary new tech, just internal politics. On Friday, OpenAI announced appointment of 3 new members to the company's board of directors and released results of independent review of the events surrounding Altman's firing last November. The current board members expressed his confidence in the leadership of Altman and President Greg Brockman, and Altman is rejoining the board. The newly appointed board members are Dr. Sue Desmond-Hellmann, former CEO of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Nicole Sullivan, former EVP and Global General Counsel of Sony, and Fidji Simo, CEO and Chair of Instacart. These additions bring 3 women to the board after OpenAI met criticism about its restructured board composition last year. Meanwhile, the independent review conducted by law firm Wilmer Hale investigated the circumstance that led to his abrupt removal. It was not about scary new tech. Found that the prior board decision did not arise out of concern regarding product safety or security, the pace of development, or OpenAI's finances or its statements to investors. Instead, the review determined that the prior board's actions stemmed from a breakdown in trust between the board and Altman. So it's kind of as been expected here. So Altman is back on the board as of today. In a total irony, CISA confirms it was breached by attackers using Ivanti flaws. Some systems were taken offline. The U.S. government's Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency was taken down by a breach using Ivanti of a software that they had reported on themselves. Confirmation of the breach came from CISA itself, as well as from anonymous sources with knowledge of the situation. The impact was limited to 2 systems, which they immediately took offline. We continue to upgrade and modernize our systems. There is no operational impact at this time. As they shared no further detail, the publication spoke to an anonymous source familiar with the matter who claimed that the system breached and subsequently turned off included Infrastructure Protection Gateway and the Chemical Security Assessment Tool, CSAT. The former holds critical information about the interdependencies of U.S. infrastructure, while later holds private sector chemical security plans. Wow. We don't know if this was a ransomware attack and if the attackers actually stole any of the data. The identity of the attack is also unknown, but it has ransomware. It's most likely Lockbit, Black Cat, or Clop. We've known about these Ivanti flaws since January. How could a company that's involved in security information not have had their stuff patched or locked down? It's just incredible. It really is. It's being reported that X will launch a YouTube-like video app on Samsung and Amazon TVs. This is interesting. Now they're taking a page from YouTube and launching a video streaming service on the platform. Musk announced that the feature was coming soon. You can soon watch your favorite X long-form videos directly on your smart TV. This dedicated app will allow users to watch these videos on the devices aforementioned. Musk recently said X would be a video-first platform moving forward, and this development shows this would translate beyond small content boxes typically available on feeds to bigger screen. Musk also claims that 8 out of 10 persons visit X for watching videos. Very short videos. So there you go. Hey, I do want to take a moment to thank our insiders. I want to thank James Fletcher for his $2 sustaining donation. Nigel Cottrell for his $25 Lahi Kahuna donation. Dale Taylor for his $25 monthly Ali kahuna contribution as well. And basically it just means big kahuna. The king of the kahunas. Or the chiefs, excuse me. King of the chiefs, if there's such a thing. But anyway, top chief, both Dale and Nigel, thank you so much for your ongoing donations. Of course, James as well. You too can have your name mentioned right here on the Geek News Central podcast. All you have to do is become an insider. Time, talent, or treasure. If you want to contribute album art, whatever you want to contribute, that's time and talent. You want to help with article submission, time and talent. Treasures obviously could be streaming Satoshis and fiat funds from PayPal. Definitely appreciate the fiat funds for sure. Let me go over here and find the streaming sats. We've had some live streaming sats come in. And there's some streaming sats. Darren Schwartz in Fountain, thank you so much for your streaming sats again. 100 sats a minute. Dave Jackson for his 80 sats a minute. All very much appreciated. And then we've had a few comments across both shows. So Scott said, too funny. I used ChatGPT to shorten what I would say. Didn't realize when I copied the text, it comped my prompt as well. 2,500 sats. Thanks for Scott on that. So you can participate in this value for value model. And matter of fact, the value of sats are going up. They've doubled. The Bitcoin has doubled. So it's very, very nice to see that increase. But you too can become an insider at geeknewscentral.com/insider. And supporting the show. $2 a month is 6.7 cents a day. And we appreciate all of you that are ongoing supporters of the podcast and hope that you will consider becoming an insider. It's greatly appreciated for that thought. It really, truly, truly is. All right, let me get back to the content today. What happened here? Will that get closed? All right. I gotta look. I got that one covered. I got that. Okay. Yep. That one's covered. All right. Don't need that up. Okay. The EU Commission's use of Microsoft software's breach privacy rules, a watchdog said. This is funny. They keep hitting all these companies for privacy, and then they're using the own software that they're reporting on. The European Commission use of Microsoft software breach EU privacy rules. And the bloc's executive also failed to implement adequate safeguards for personal data transferred to non-EU countries, the EU privacy watchdog said on Monday. The European Data Protection Supervisor ordered the Commission to take measures to comply with privacy rules and halt data transfer to the United States. Companies and subsidiaries located in third countries which do not have privacy deals with the EU set a deadline of December 9th of this year. Wow. Given a little bit of time. The EDPS decision followed a 3-year probe triggered by worries about the transfer of personal data to the U.S. following revelations in 2013 by former U.S. intelligence contractor Edward Snowden. Wow, this has been going on for a while. Hilarious, isn't it? Google Maps might finally fix orientation accuracy on Android, but that always drives me wrong. Going the wrong way while your device orientation error recalibrates itself is hopefully a thing of the past. Google's introducing a new, what's called Fused Orientation Provider in Android, which is a new location orientation API that aims to be more accurate. I can tell you, in big cities, the map stuff just gets crazy. The release of FOP is intended to respond to user complaints about location orientation accuracy. Compared to Android Rotation Vector, the FOP gives users more consistent behavior and higher performance across devices. I just want it to point in the right location when I'm in a city block with tall buildings. That's all I'm asking for. Just get that right. I'll figure the rest out. Well, this is a very interesting article. Major press agencies that pulled a photo of UK's Princess of Wales and her children and been concerned that it has been digitally manipulated. It's all about her wedding ring again. Apparently, it wasn't on her finger in this family picture. And people are asking questions about this. Well, in a message posted on social media Monday morning, Princess Kate said that she herself edited the image and apologized for the fuss that the pictures caused. Like many amateur photographers, I do occasionally experiment with editing, she wrote, adding, I want to express my apologies for any confusion the family photograph we shared yesterday caused. Because everyone's watching very, very closely her wedding ring, because there seems to be some scuttlebutt out there that there might be an issue. And there was some fuzziness that they caught and some other stuff. But anyway, link will be up in the show notes on that. So, oftentimes, have you ever had discussions about the pyramids or space or universe and how big the universe is? Have you ever really tried to figure out in a scale? Well, we are not even, as I'm sitting here today, in the scale of the universe, I'm not even represented by a speck of sand. Well, why is the reason for that? Well, there are more suns, stars, in our universe than grains of sand on Earth. Now, think about that. There's more suns than grains of sand on Earth. And if you just think about a 5-gallon bucket of sand, and just the amount of grains of sand in that bucket, that is an overwhelming scale to think about. They have an interactive map that lets you explore the true scale of the observable universe. Our sun is only one of 70 septillions, yes, septillions of stars spread throughout the cosmos. At the scale of the universe, it's really incredible. This amazing interactive map lets you explore the true scale of the universe by zooming in and out of the scale of a human right out to the edge of the observable universe. It was put together, is curated by a computer scientist named Carrie Huang. And I encourage you to take a look at it. And your brain might just explode a little bit. But, that was a statistic that I had never heard. That our sun is only one of 70 septillion stars, more than the total number of grains of sand that we have on this entire planet. You think about walking across the beach, that just tells you how insignificant you are, because every one of those 70 septillions of stars have planets, have, probably various moons, various planets and habitable zones. Do you think we're really alone here? I just don't think so. Or are we just part of a big computer game? China begins testing AI chatbot for brain surgeons in hospitals. Yes, you heard that right. China's testing an AI assistant for neurosurgeons at 7 hospitals in Beijing and other cities in coming months. They introduced this AI model based on Meta's platform's Llama 2. Researchers trained and fine-tuned the model with papers, medical journals, and manuals to act as a surgery consultant of sorts. Huh. Really? They hope the AI bot will answer questions with citations based on more than 1 million academic records. It should also be able to process diagnostic data such as MRI, ultrasound, or CAT scans, as well as images, text, and audio, they said. Eventually, the researchers envisioned the AI taking a more active role, warning doctors from pursuing risky procedures, for instance. There are obstacles, including restricted computer power due to the banned access to NVIDIA advanced chips. So they don't have very much processing power. So, very, very interesting. In a related manner, the United States will do whatever it takes to curb China tech. Where did this statement come from? Well, Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo said signaling Wednesday, this signaling may intensify its campaign to prevent Beijing catching up in military capabilities. We cannot allow China to have access for the military advancement to our most sophisticated tech. So yes, we will do whatever it takes to protect our people, including expanding our export controls. She is leading a trade delegation to the Philippines and Thailand and was asked if the U.S. is planning to add new restrictions on the sale of semiconductors to China. The administration is mulling fresh sanctions on several Chinese tech companies, including memory chip maker Changxin Memory Tech, while pushing allies to do more to curb the export of advanced tech. Washington has taken aim at AI at China's chip industry for years, imposing sweeping controls to export advanced semiconductor making machines. But holes still remain, particularly the ability of Japanese and Dutch engineers to continue doing some equipment repairs and the flow of spare parts that are used in semiconductor manufacturing equipment. The U.S. government is pressing allies, including Netherlands, Germany, South Korea, and Japan, to further tighten restrictions. So we will see where this goes till AI gives them the tech they need. Another link hints at the Android 15 will come with satellite messaging and not just for emergencies. Some digging into the code in the latest Android 14 beta by the team at Android Authority has revealed signs of a new satellite messaging system and settings. The text on it talks about being able to send and receive text by satellite. That said, the page says the feature is only available in some areas and calls aren't included. You'll also need to have signed up for a satellite messaging service. The page leads to a T-Mobile satellite coverage page that isn't yet available, hinting that some kind of partnership for U.S. users is on the way. Not that we should be surprised in the least. Interestingly, healthcare pros are showing interest in the Apple Vision Pro, according to a survey. Up to 75% of U.S. healthcare professionals are open to exploring the use of Vision Pro. That's curious. Why is that? We've seen a cavalcade of health tech applications for Vision OS appear since the device first arrived last month. It's already widely understood that spatial computing will usher in transformative change across the multitudes of industries. Why will healthcare get spatial? And in most basic terms, these devices enable medical professionals to deliver high-quality care at distance as long as patients are in front of a suitable video camera. This could literally save lives in some situations, enabling specialist diagnosis at distance in remote areas, so long as there's an internet connection. But the device is also proving useful during surgery, enabling doctors to monitor vital signs from multiple sources in one screen, while keeping an eye on the patient. Training is also becoming a well-traveled path as medical publishers figure out how to exploit the tech from 3D models of vital organs to virtualized surgery practice, or even planning full-scale operations. So they're not the ones that are already. These are lots of healthcare sees lots of opportunities. So there may be a way forward yet. Got some extra money? You want to own a piece of iPhone history? Well, you just got a chance. Yes. Are you a fan of the original iPhone? A rare, unsealed 2007 model is up for auction. It could be yours. Starting price $10,000. Future cars, according to the EU, could ditch touchscreens and bring back buttons. European NCAP wants cars to switch back to switches and buttons because a lot of people are having trouble while they're driving, touching stuff on the screen. I find it even in my car. There's some stuff in my car I cannot do while I'm driving. Getting to the heater controls is pretty easy, but there's a couple of things that just take too many clicks for me to feel comfortable looking at the screen while not looking at the road. I'd rather have a button. So some of these vehicles need more buttons. Euro NCAP, which is the European New Car Assessment Program, will indeed incentivize OEMs to have physical, easy-to-use, and tactile controls of main driving features like wipers, warning lights, and indicators. So, good on them. Now, my emergency lights and my windshield wipers, they all got manual controls, but some of this other stuff that's missing drives me insane. More information. Boy, people are not happy with the Google self-design office. They're saying this Wi-Fi is just as bad as anyone could even imagine. So there's another story on it. We covered it on the last show. If you want to know what's leaving Hulu this month, we've got a list here. Some of the stuff is already gone. So, but this was just published 9 hours ago. What's leaving in the next couple of days? The Banshees of Inisherin, All Good Things, Drinking Buddy, Love Simon, Maze Runner, Nature Calls, Please Stand By. These are all leaving in days, so have a list there. How many of you have went to see Dune 2? I'm hearing it's pretty good, although some that read the book are disappointed. What say you? Uber's Posh Electric rideshare service is coming to New York City. Uber first launches Comfort Electric service, in which customers can hail trips in premium price EVs like Tesla, Polestar, and Ford Mustang Mach-E in May of 22. And since the service was rolled out in 41 cities, the latest now being New York City. Uber Comfort Electric is an extension of Uber Comfort. So one of the major obstacles to more ride-sharing drivers using EV is charging availability, and I hear it's a pain in New York City. I saw a whole thread on it on X the other day. Someone complaining about being able to charge in New York City. If you live in some of the boroughs, it's easy to get a charger at your house. But if you live in Manhattan, not easy at all. Microsoft says it's still facing Russian cyber attacks. Their internal system hit as computing giant comes under attack. And essentially what's going on, earlier this year, we know that news broke of a Russian state-sponsored threat actor known as Midnight Blizzard breaching Microsoft infrastructure and stealing sensitive information. Well, they've used that stolen information to find new attack vectors. And so they're turning the heat up on Microsoft. Microsoft said Midnight Blizzard was using information previously obtained to further compromise its endpoints and infrastructure. So that's the problem. They get a little bit of code, they dig around, they find more weaknesses, and they get in. And this is why protecting source code is so important. It makes it so much easier for hackers to get around. News from Apple and Tesla, they're feeling the pain as China opts for homegrown products. Local competition surge and security-related restrictions lead to changes. Failing market share and sales figure report this month indicate two groups facing rising competition and whiplash U.S.-China geopolitical tensions. Both have turned to discounting to try to maintain their appeal. A shift away from Apple in particular has been sharp, spurred by a top-down campaign to reduce the iPhone usage among state employees and the triumphant return of Chinese national champion Huawei, which last year overcame U.S. sanctions to roll out a homegrown smartphone capable of near 5G speeds. For people coming here, they encourage us to use domestic phones because phones like Apple are not safe. In other words, they can't be hacked or monitored. So, anyway, Chinese worried about us hacking them? It's the opposite way around. Link will be up in the show notes for you to check that out. Pinterest is rolling out its body type range tool to the United States. As of today, Pinterest now features size-inclusive brands on its search landing page. To use the feature, users can type in the search bar and select the body type option to see 4 different body types at the top of the results page. If a user selects the same option twice, the body type selection can be saved to the device. Pinterest body type ranges feature is currently only available for women's fashion and wedding ideas. When testing this feature, Pinterest saw that users who used the tool had a 66% higher engagement rate per session. In other words, they got to see clothes and outfits and different things that were designed for their body shape and were able to purchase products that were not necessarily for skinny minis. So, Link will be up in the show notes. If you are a WordPress user and you have the Ultimate Member plugin, a flaw within it has exposed 100,000 WordPress sites to attacks. The security defect was submitted via WordPress Bounty Program on February 28th. The plugin's developer informed of the bug on March 2nd. A patch was released on March 6th. The flaw impacts Ultimate Member 2.8.3. User advised to update to Ultimate Member 2.8.4 as soon as possible. And you can avoid this by doing auto updates within WordPress. All right, we are 1 month away from the total solar eclipse. I've been looking a little closer at the path. And it looks like to me I can get to the total eclipse area in about 3 hours. So the Cincinnati area seems to be Cincinnati, Cleveland, both are good. Toledo, it seems like it's on the edge. So I need to go a little further. I can go into parts of Ohio that might be a little closer, maybe 2 hours. So who is in the path that I can come hang out with to see this full solar eclipse that's listening to the show? It would have to be Ohio. I think Ohio, somebody in Ohio. If you're in that range, let me know. geeknews@gmail.com. I'll come hang out with you. And we'll watch the solar eclipse together. Not surprising, the UK and US lack regulation to protect space tourists from cosmic ray damage. Over the last decade, entrepreneurial billionaires such as Jeff Bezos, Richard Branson have launched commercial space flights. However, scientists point out the danger of sudden change in space weather. The radiations present in space, such as solar wind or heavy ions and atomic nuclei. These changes include ground level enhancement when they charge particles from the sun of enough energy measurable at the Earth's surface. Either can have a significant health impact for crew and passengers. So another thing to watch out for if you're ever going to buy yourself a ticket. Here's one thing that I'm becoming a little bit irritated with. Why are we so worried about protecting AI outputs? Why, if the AI does something that someone doesn't fully like, why does Big Brother have to come in and try to protect us from AI outputs? I don't get this. Why are we so worried? Are we not smart enough to be able to have our own reason? They're now looking at dialect. If you're dialect, if you're from down south, if you have a little bit of African American dialect, and I don't know what that really even means, but this is what the article says. Didn't know that was a thing. It can show racial bias based on written dialect, not spoken, written dialect. Yeah, I'm just a little, at this point. Okay, go ahead and report on it, but are we not smart enough to monitor this ourselves and be able to make changes to any outputs? Reddit is in the news. They want to raise $748 million with an IPO and sets a value at $6.4 billion, but yet it has never turned a profit. According to the Minute S1, Reddit and its investor replacing approximately 22 million shares for sale when it finally decides to go public as soon as practicable at a price between $31 and $34 a piece. So we'll see. We will see if they're able to raise the money they want. Now, I don't follow the Oscars, but I know there was a lot of people that were really pissed off that Oppenheimer won a whole bunch of Oscars. Apple TV and Netflix were nearly shut out. The streamers combined for 32 nominations, but Netflix won just a single award with basically Apple TV, I guess, nearly shut out as well. Apple TV not gaining a single statue. Wow. Universal, the big movie house, was the big winner with Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor, Original Score. While Poor Things, Disney Searchlight Pictures garnered 4 prizes. The other half of Barbenheimer, Barbie, took just a single prize for Best Song with Billie Eilish's What Was I Made For. The gala was let down for Netflix. They didn't spend enough money. They didn't put enough in the grab bag. I heard the grab bags everyone got was valued at $180,000. That's what the people got that were at tables, I guess. $180,000 each. And boy, get me a ticket to the Oscars. I'd like to have one of those grab bags. That would be awesome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here at the end of the show. Don't forget to become an insider, geeknewscentral.com/insider. We really do, and I really do need your support. It is critical that you consider becoming an insider. I hope you appreciate the value that I've given you during this program today, the information that I've shared, and by getting value back by either fiat donations through PayPal. One-time donations are fine as well. We've had some people do that recently. We want to thank them. And of course, we're using a new modern podcast app at podcastapps.com. We're having a hard time getting many of you transition to that application. And I don't understand why. The new Fountain app that's been updated is like rocking it. It is fantastic. Its 1.0 version has really hit the mark. So I hope you will consider trying a new podcast app out at podcastapps.com. Please tell me why you're not willing to try one. I want to know that. Where is the malfunction? Why can't you listen to this show and try a new app, as I have very nicely asked you to do? I'd love to have you move over there. We're starting to put chapter files in. We're adding all kinds of functionality that you don't get access to by using one of those old apps. The chapter files let you jump from topic to topic if you want. The transcript is there for you to follow along, whatever you may be. We've put a lot of work into this. I want you guys to start realizing the outputs that is tied to the metadata that we do for the show. Give it a try. Check it out. All right. geeknews@gmail.com. Send me your comments, good or bad. I want to hear from you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of our family of listeners. We'll be back on Thursday for another edition of the Geek News Central podcast. You all take care. Be safe. And by the way, sorry for the loud audio on the live stream, the last show. We got that fixed this one, but the last one sucked. I had a volume level set to. Anyways, we're out here. See you next time. Bye-bye.